Hey guys, Ronan Will here. Um, so we're going to be doing another model painting, but for this one, I figured why not show you the full process. Hi, Michelle.
Hi.
Um, she's just going to be nosy. I'm going to show you the full prep process, everything from beginning to end, yeah. So hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so the model we're going to be prepping today is the Super Dungeon Explorer Arena exclusive model. Champion, I believe her name was like the Champion Bunny or something. So normally with prepping models, first thing you would do, there we go. First thing you would do is go over and any spots that have the what most people call flack or flash. Basically, these are usually on a spindle, and you have to cut them out and everything else. Super Dungeon, for majority of their normal stuff, is actually already pre-assembled and ready to be painted, more or less. So this one's more or less ready to be painted. I didn't have to sand or clean up any flack, but just remember that's one of the first things you usually want to do. The next thing is you want to get a warm, usually a warm bowl of water. I have a little cup here for it. So we're going to actually just submerge the model in warm soapy water, sudsy water. Take a brush. I don't have my normal brushes, are usually old toothbrushes I use. I do a quick brush on it to get all the residue off of it from the release, when they release these from the mold. Then you want to just go and rinse it in some regular water. Let it dry. I like to let mine dry naturally, without patting it dry or anything. So, and it doesn't look any different. However, it will get all the release crap off of it. I usually do multiple models at a time in this process because, you know, you're just cleaning a model. It's not that big of a deal. I also like to let them sit and soak for about 5 minutes. If the water is warm enough, I'm going to see if I have any other models that need to be bent a little bit, or bent back I should say, but I don't think I have any. If there's a model, this is another Super Dungeon model that I have yet to get to. Let's say her staff was a little bent. With that warm water, you could actually just bend it back, let it cool, and it will stay in place. So again, just going to submerge these, and next step is going to be the priming step. Alright, so the next step after cleaning your models is spray. Well, we have a spray primer, but
It makes it easier and it gets in all the crevices. It's just the issue we've had was we have to use gloves.
yeah, I ran out of tack. Otherwise, we could have just sprayed them in the box. There's a whole bunch of stuff that we've been painting. Anyway, so
now
this is
after the primer is dried. Now you're gonna paint the model.
Yeah, I was just showing you the army painters. What brush I was using. The paint for this is the same as the last model, the flesh tone. I prefer starting with the skin tones, and working out. So I work from like
small to large.
The smaller section, yeah, smaller section to the larger section.
Which makes sense because you can fix it up in the next time and not worry about it later.
Yeah. So I'm trying a different camera angle. I'm finding that the first way we did the camera is the best.
Because you can see the paint strokes much better than this.
Yeah. I just have to get used to painting around the camera.
That's all it is.
So right here, you're not really going to see it too well, but I'm painting
Just the skin.
just all the skin tones. A lot of people will like jump between skin tone and
Other places.
other sections. So this next part, I believe, is going to be the dress. So the dress I used,
A blue.
again, a crystal blue, I believe it's called.
Too much.
Yeah, my paints, I need to clean all of the nozzles in my paints. And as you can see, like, I'm doing my best to show you guys, but I'm painting towards myself.
And that's how a lot of people paint as, is towards themselves.
Yeah,
So it's hard to do it without it.
so. Anyway, so this is a quick, just
Do the dress. A lot of times people do match the picture, which you're pretty close to the picture.
yeah, I showed the picture beforehand. We got stuck. We talked a little bit too slow for that first part compared to here, but I was close. The model, mind you, the model changes from the picture too. So, for example, this model actually has 2 metal boots and 2 metal gloves on, where the picture that they have right there, I accidentally grabbed the face.
Oops.
The picture they have, actually, she's wearing a stocking
Ah.
on one of her legs. So right here is a good example of me mixing paints.
You picked the white and red, which
Yeah.
obviously makes pink.
Yeah, which will result in the bright pink that is her hair. This was actually interesting because I wasn't expecting it to be as bright pink as it ended up being.
I mean, you can always experiment the colors yourselves and all that.
Yeah,
Whatnot.
as you can see, it's a very bright pink. I was expecting it almost to be more red. But I was going for this bright pink color. Again, referencing back to that card, she has a very bright hair. So I actually realized, because we do the voiceovers after we finish painting and everything, the name of this character is actually the Arena Champion.
Ah.
So I forgot, most Super Dungeon heroes do not get named. They want to keep it as generic as possible. So
So the people can play and have their own names attached to it.
that, and so multiple people can play the same character.
True.
So like, everybody could play a paladin if you bought 4 paladins, or everybody.
So on and so forth.
Yeah, and I don't have multiples of the same character. I usually try, other than the minions, I try to keep one of
I see
each.
you got a little closer this time on the picture, on the camera.
Yeah, again, I'm still trying to get used to painting into the camera.
I think next time we're going to change the camera angle, make it easier, and even for you guys to see it better.
Like I said, the best angle that I've come up with is is in front of me. It's an easier way to see what's being painted, because as you can see, you can't see anything I'm painting right now.
Until it's finally painted.
Yeah, so I'm just doing the inside of her rabbit ears.
Yeah.
And it's funny, this character, I'm not sure if she's actually supposed to be
Actual rabbit.
a girl in a rabbit outfit or an actual half rabbit. That goes to the Super Dungeon stuff. There's a whole story of these characters and everything being half people, or
Some interesting trait.
yeah, they mostly do the cat people.
Yeah.
But this is a rabbit person, and we had a centaur in the pass.
Yes, a centaur and like 3 cat girls.
Yeah.
Each, one was a mage, a rogue, and somebody else.
I don't know. I think it was 2 cat girls that were mages and one that. We're getting off topic. So I'm just touching up some of the spots that I missed with the pink paint. It's a super fine brush I'm using here. I think this is called the Psycho brush because
for obvious reasons.
it's like incredibly tiny.
It's like
Here we go. Yeah, the
here's
Psycho
the
brush. Here we go. So that brush is just really small. It's for very tiny details.
Which you're doing right now for something.
Yeah, she's got a bow in her hair.
Oh, that is a tiny detail.
It's a very tiny, and it's a tight spot. I usually use the Psycho brush for tiny details or very tight spots.
Which the bow was.
Yeah, I'll end up
You
sometimes.
can't even see it.
Yeah, I'll sometimes just forget that I'm using a Psycho brush after a while, and end up painting large sections with this small brush.
And wondering why it was taking so long.
Yeah, and it will take me like 3 hours to do a small section, and I'm like, why did it take me so long? And then I realized it's because I was using the super tiny brush. So you're going to see my my painting style here. I don't dry brush as much as Michelle does. I think we brought this up in the last video, or I brought this up in the last video. She tends to favor dry brushing when she's adding highlights. I end up using regular painting styles to paint it on.
The
highlights on. There's also wet blending, but we didn't do any wet blending on this character. This character's pretty much.
This is how she is.
This color goes here, this color goes there, and that tends to be a lot of these anime characters.
They have specified colors to go in certain areas.
Yeah. So right now I'm painting all of her metal.
And there's a lot of it.
Yeah, Army Painter. I absolutely love their medals.
Oh, it's so beautiful.
It's funny. They have like 3 different versions of steel. Because they have gunmetal steel, they have regular steel, and then they have shiny steel. As well as your silver, gold, and bronze. But right here was the shiny steel, I believe.
I think so. You showed the picture before.
Yeah, I'm not really too confident on what one it is because I think after this we end up going back over it with a different color anyway. Gunmetal is the only one you can tell the difference because it's a very dark metal.
It's shiny, but it's a very dark metal.
Yeah, what's cool about these, which I've found some other companies you can't do with their metal paints, is you can combine them.
You can blend them into different colors.
Yeah, so like I usually use my shiny metal, my shiny steel or silver as a
as a base.
I was adjusting there, sorry guys. As a base, and then I can add blue or whatever other color you want to add to it.
Kind of give it like a tint.
And it will, depending on how much you add, either will make it just slightly shade towards that color, or there was some squirrels with the armor. I don't know if you remember those guys. They actually are, their armor is a combination of 50% blue and 50% silver.
Which gave it that nice blue tint to make it a little unique.
Yeah, they're very blue, and you wouldn't be able to tell that. Like, you can see it's metal, but you wouldn't know that the base was actually silver.
Which is a nice touch.
Yeah, there's other ways you can do that too. I know some other guys, Sir Astro is one of the guys I used to watch for painting tutorials. And I still, time to time. So this is uniform gray. This is going to be for the axe. I still watch painting tutorials time to time just to get an idea on how to improve my style, because I don't think my style is really that great. But actually, a lot of people, once they see my actual painted models, they think I've had them professionally done.
And it's a nice compliment hearing that too.
Yeah, and considering that I've never considered like going and
Being
professionally painting this stuff, because like we sent it out our first couple because we didn't like how we painted them.
Because we were just starting out painting, and
here's where I'm like, I just have to focus.
Oh yeah.
Sorry guys.
Like we were just starting out painting, and we messed up on some of the characters' eyes.
Well, not just the eyes, the face on some of it. The first set that we painted are terrible, so we sent them out. It cost us $200
for like 5 characters.
About 5 or 6 models. Meanwhile, I've been able to paint well over 200 or 300 models at this point. Between all my Star Wars models, all of our Super Dungeon models. I know I painted some other models throughout. But like for the 200 it cost us for getting 5 models painted up. I think we might have spent $200 between the paints and the brushes and replacing brushes and all of that. That's honestly the most expensive thing, is replacing the paints and the brushes.
True, because they go pretty fast.
In fact, we're actually low on paints right now. So, this is just some plain white, just to touch up the ears.
Because the primer did enough, but it gives it more of the white rabbit look.
Yeah. You also, as you're touching this stuff, you'll begin to lose the paint on the models, the oils in your hand.
So if you have like a tippery, like a soda bottle or anything like that.
Yeah, I have a tool that allows me to hold the model and paint without touching the model. Drawback to that though,
we don't have any more tack.
No tack, which is again the main issue, and it's actually kind of rough to try and use that while painting, recording, because it extends the model like about 6 inches off of where my hand is resting, so it's like that much higher that I have to remember I have to move stuff down. But if you if you're at home and you want to do it and you don't want to ruin like the paint, do it that way and tack it onto like a old soda bottle or whatever. Alright, so I'm putting some white around the edge of her dress. Again, it's a schoolgirl's outfit, and you want to give it some dimension. Yeah, well, on the card, it also has that. Oh. I'm trying to stay as close to the card as possible. Again, she has a stocking on in her card where they gave her 2 iron boots, so you just have to go with the 2 iron boots. Yeah, you follow the model, not the card at that point. Yeah. So the next thing. You're just touching up, it looks like. Yeah, well, the next thing, I'm actually painting in the eyes. Ah. So that's actually pretty hard, too, because you have to keep it level. Yeah, this one's a little bit tricky with the eyes, because you need to kind of spread it out large. And again, she's an anime character, so you get those massive eyes. Yes. The chibi, I guess. Well, no, anime characters all have giant eyes. Hell, Disney characters nowadays have giant eyes. But again, getting sidetracked. So right here, I'm doing some touch-ups on the face. On the face, as well as coloring in the eyes. Again, I forget that I'm recording. I do apologize for that. I tend to lean towards like, oh, I've got to get it here, and then I zoom in on my own. I'm like, okay, there we go. A lot of people also use the magnifying glass. Yeah, I've always had an issue trying to use the magnifying glass. But again, it's to each his own for that one. Alright, so the next step, I'm going to color her eyes, if I remember correctly. At least trying to. Now, it's very hard to do the eyes because you don't want to make them look like they're cross-eyed or,
you want them to look like they're facing at least one direction.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it face forward. You can do it like, oh, they're looking towards the side. But do some research on the position where the eyes would be, which helps.
It's funny. The eyes on anime on these models are the hardest things and the easiest things all at the same time, because all you have to do, so you do a white base, like you saw. Then I put a colored dot, depending on what color eye you want. Then inside that dot, you have to put the black dot, which I just did.
And then after that, you put the white dot to make it look a little bit more dimensioned.
Yeah, after that, you add 1 or 2 white dots. Usually, I put one in the upper right and then one in the lower left of each eye, which gives it that anime-looking eye. It's a very simple process. But to get it, if you get it wrong,
you have to start all over again.
It is a nightmare. I think I actually end up having to do it twice in here because I ended up adding eyeliner to her. So she has this, at the end, she has black eyeliner around her eyes. Right now, I forgot I was recording.
Oh, now you're back.
As I drop her. I just used some, I believe that was desert yellow.
Yes.
To paint the wrappings on her axe.
To make it look like a rope or something.
Okay, so that's gold. This gold is very it's
liquidy.
just a little, it's very liquidy gold, but I'm using it very sparingly, and it's because the rabbit on the top of her axe has a crown on it. So I just put in that little
touch of gold.
Little touch. And you really can't see it that well. Once the model is completely painted with the dark tones and everything, you'll see it's a lot nicer.
Mm-hmm.
I actually put the rabbit's face on there.
Oh yeah, you did.
So
here's
where I'm attempting to do just the base coat of the rabbit's face. It's just something different. I keep dropping that model.
I think you need that stand at this point so you can stop dropping the poor model.
It doesn't matter. The stand is a rounded base, so it would still fall. Anyway, so this is just, I'm highlighting the edge of the axe so it looks like it's a little bit sharper.
Good, you look at normal weapons and usually it's...
You've got a slight sheen to the edge.
Yeah.
So, this is, that's all of that. So then...
Basically, you're up to, detailing. And now you're up to the...
So, as you can see, there's a cut there. I had to wait till the model is completely dried.
So now you're doing the flesh wash, which is just specifically for...
Skin tones.
Skin tones.
It just is basically... I actually could just use it on the edges of the face. I tend to go over the whole face anyway with it, and then just build up from dark, which, again, depending on who you're watching.
Now this is dark tone.
This is dark tone. This
you literally just do the whole...
So you don't have to do it my way.
No.
My way is the lazy man's way. For anybody who's like, well, he did all that work and then he dark toned the whole thing and then he had to redo all the work. It's because I'm actually lazy. I hate having to be super, super careful with the dark toner because all the dark toner is really supposed to do is fill in
crevices.
Fill in those cracks and darken those areas up. Which it does, and you can be very careful, which is actually the Super Dungeon. Super Dungeon has a tutorial that they give you when you get their paint set, and it shows that you be very careful and you just use the dark tone sparingly into those crevices. I end up hating that technique. It takes hours. This right here actually takes a long time too, doing the dark toning over the whole body. However, it's so much faster to do it this way and then do highlights or do it this way and then paint what you don't want dark, versus just doing the doing the dark tones and then the highlights.
Right.
I find it just a little bit more relaxing for me to just cover the whole thing. But again, everybody has their own technique. So right there, I'm trying to clean up some of the paint some of the dark tone that ran down into the eyes. Which will happen even if you're very careful. It's still going to happen. That's the whole reason why I end up having to redo the eyes, and I decide to give her eyeliner. Doing eyeliner for these models, I'm not sure if I actually recorded it, because some of the stuff I ended up touching up
off camera
in between shots. I forget I'm recording sometimes.
Yeah, you're so focused on painting and just forget.
This actually, right down here where I'm painting now, actually, there's a cool effect on this model. I don't think you get to see it that well, but the model actually has frills underneath the skirt. So it's like one of those multi-layer skirts.
Oh, the poofy. It makes it more poof.
Yeah, and you really can't see it that well from
the
angle or painting in general. But once the model's done with all the frills and everything else, it looks really, really cool.
You can kind of see it real fast on that one.
Yeah, I tried showing it a little bit. I tried angling it so you can see it. But so let's see. Okay, so this is about a day later after everything's dry, because it takes forever for that dark toner to dry. So now I'm just going to be retouching everything, and this is where I start adding highlights. You try to avoid any sections that you want to keep, dark toned. You want to try and avoid that. That's why I'm using a Psycho brush right here.
To keep the small details.
Yeah, and then I start highlighting straight off of just doing the base paint. If I decide to actually get that far.
You're going too fast for yourself.
Yeah. It's the middle of the day and I'm falling asleep.
Oh, I know that feeling.
Anyway, so
painting is so much fun.
Watching people paint, I find it enjoyable to watch people paint, but commenting on my own videos like this, I find it very hard to do. Okay, so I mixed some white into the flesh tone, and now I'm going to just start making like the main part of the face. So
you're just layering the face.
So there was, again, I'm touching up the bow right now. You'll notice this a lot when I paint, is I'll start with one part of the project, and then I'm like, wait a sec, I want to have this. So in this case, I needed red for the detailing on her cheeks. Her cheeks are supposed to have like this rosy red tint to it, as well as these zigzags.
Basically, like Ash Ketchum had them.
Yeah, like scratches or something on their cheeks to show a little bit of personality. It's the same thing with her black eyebrows that somehow that somehow cover over her bangs. It's a very anime trope type thing, but okay, so here you can see I decided I'll go back and highlights and highlighting, and there. I punched the camera with that one, actually.
Nice.
So that's, I do a little bit more highlighting on her face later on. Let's see, where are we at? Now I'm doing highlights of the...
Probably the hair.
Yeah, of the hair. I was going to say skin again, but that's not right.
No, I was going to say you just did the skin. Alright.
So this is actually slowed down from last time I wanted to do highlights on the bow first. This is actually slowed down by about 200% from the last video we did. Just so you know, obviously the last video was like sped up unbelievably because these models do take a long time to paint. The Wolf ended up taking about a day and a half, maybe 2 days.
Yeah.
This model only took me, I want to say about 4 hours.
4 or 5. You had to wait for the thing to dry.
Yeah, mind you, you tend to sit and wait for a while, but I'm kind of a slow painter when it comes to certain spots. Like, I'll go through an entire model that's 1 or 2 tones in a couple of minutes, but stuff, especially heroes. So,
Heroes, you'll see that a lot more compared to, like, minions, where, like, you just see a whole bunch of them.
Yeah, minions I'll paint, like, a dozen in a couple of hours. Where a hero can take an entire day for one hero to be painted. Which is usually why, when we were painting on our own, me and Michelle would both take a hero and some minions, paint the hero slowly, get all the minions painted, and then
back to the hero.
Yeah, by the time the hero's base coat is dry, we've painted like an entire
army.
But where I used to get my models painted, that was Blue Table. Shout out to them. I doubt they're even
around.
No, I know they're around. They're actually a fairly big painting company. But I kind of based my style of painting off of their tiers of painting.
Yes.
Blue Table has your standard painting style, which is like your generic minions, very, very minimum highlights. Then you have tier 3. It goes from base coat to tier 3. And that's like your base coat and then just shading. And they go up from there. I used to get, for the heroes, I did what they call their hero level, which is a level 5. I think a level 10 is their, like, top of the line, like, super amazing.
Like, don't even touch this. This belongs.
This is a centerpiece, not a gaming model.
Yeah.
But the level 5 was heroes and was the starting level for heroes, and that's basically how I based all my stuff on. It's I think they call it a 5-tier process, which is base coating, shading, highlight 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I had to double check that because I think they might have had 2 shaders. So I do about 3 tiers of, or I do 4 tiers. So I'm just under their what they consider their quality.
But if you compare theirs to ours, it's similar on the tier one.
Yeah, we have a few models that they painted, and we compare them to ours, and for the most part, they all look identical. Like, unless you're somebody who works with them all the time, you probably wouldn't notice it.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm just messing with some highlighting options. On the card, they have like a weird white spot in the middle of her head.
Weird.
Yeah, it's supposed to simulate the lighting. So the way we did the lighting, you'll see, is we lighten up the whole hair.
Even more of a sheen.
Yeah, the whole top of the head gets basically lighten up.
Words, great.
English, great. Again, it's because I have no music in the background, which I'm gonna probably, if I don't add it to this one, I'll probably add it to another one. Well, next week is sorry guys. Next week is us doing is me doing another animation, and this will be the first actual animation video.
Woo!
animation tutorial video, I should say. And then the week after that should be another painting video. So for anybody who's keeping track, it's going to be animation, paint, animation, paint, animation, paint, until I run out of mobs, which may never happen.
No, I'm gonna say we have a lot that still hasn't even been primed.
Yeah. Okay, so
At this point, you're up to the highlights.
well, what I just did was I did the black for the eyes, because remember how I told you that the eyes got a little screwy when I did the dark tones. So I blackened the eyes, and you can still slightly see them. Eventually, I'll be adding the white and redoing the eyes, but right now it's blackened. I'm doing a highlight on the hair, so it's now becoming almost like I guess a bubblegum color.
Yeah, very brighter pink.
Yeah, and then after that I do a dry brush with white on her hair. So I will dry brush once in a while, and you could see I was doing a little bit of the dry brushing there. I'm moving on to the eyes again. Again, when I feel like there's a very hard part, I might hold off on doing it, but here we go. Here's the eyes. You can see she's now kind of got like eyeliner. I only do that with the male characters, with the female characters, I mean.
Yes, because they have, it's a female thing. For anime too.
For anime, female characters have the pronounced eyeliner and eyelashes and all of that. So yeah, you can actually see that I did a little bit of dry brushing on the head right now. I don't dry brush as much as Michelle does, where she uses the dry brushing for highlights. I'll do it for very little sections and usually near the end of painting.
Well, the reason why I do it for the highlights is because it can blend much nicer.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my...
I have to do it more for the face. I don't tend to do it for the face as much as I should. So it kind of looks like she has a spotlight straight onto her face and then very dark skin tone on the sides, which, to be fair, with anime style characters, you tend to get a lot. So right here I'm putting the eyes back in. I put the little, what are those? The eyelashes, I guess they're supposed to be. It's so weird to think that the eyelashes for an anime character shoot off to the left and the right of the eye. It's not like a regular person would be on their eye.
Yeah.
Okay, so this again is putting the circle. So I did the white, now I'm doing the circle for the main part of the eye. And then I'm going to put the black for the iris, I think.
Eventually.
Oh.
No, you just decided to do more.
Yeah, I jump around when I'm highlighting. I did want to let the gray on the eyes dry.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, it's one of those things I could have done it, but then I would have risked... Yeah, I would have risked it all running together and then having to redo the eyes again. So, you know, moving on to something else while we wait.
Just be careful, don't touch the wet spots.
Yeah, which I think I almost did in that last shot.
That's why I said.
But again, the eye kind of got dry. It was dry by then because there I just put the black pupils in. And now to actually make it look like she's got life to her,
I was gonna say you have a soul.
you put the dots in, and there you go.
Again, with the dots, it all depends on how you like it.
Yeah, if you're going for an anime style, you definitely need to remember those dots. It's the weirdest thing because it makes such a simple 5 dots look so professional or so good.
Yeah, it looks like the character is real. Like a real anime character where they can really start moving all of a sudden.
It makes it look like you put a lot more effort in than you actually did.
That too.
All my Star Wars models don't have that. They have the standard black eyes. I think I tried to do it with one or two of them, but their eyes are just so small.
It's like even the cycle brush couldn't even do it.
Yeah, you need like a single hair brush, which I don't think they make. But and I don't think we did that for the wolf. For he's not a wolf, he's a warg. For the last video we did, I think I just did yellow eyes with a
Black
line.
dot.
Yeah, black dot or a black line for the eyes. I don't think I put like any white in it. Again, super simple technique. Just add a couple of white dots to make it look like they're actually looking. And it's kind of funny how emotional a character can look just by adding some dots.
Yeah, especially how big the dots are. It's like they're sad looking. If they're big dots, if they're small dots, it could look angry.
So here I'm brightening up the dress and the headband. And at this point, usually what you want to do is decide where the light source is coming from. For most of my models, I just focus the light being
On top.
High noon, if you will. Mostly because, like, when you're playing the game,
You see them in like
you're gonna
aerial
have
vision, not
you're gonna have the light
Thanks.
coming down, straight down on the model. You're not going to be like, oh, well, there's some light coming this way or this way. You know, I mean, again, that's a preference thing. But it's just my preference is to have it coming straight down. Alright, so I'm doing some dry brushing here off screen.
and showing a little bit.
And that was just for the petticoats underneath her main dress. And then this is for the axe. The axe, actually, I love
How it came out.
I love how the axe came out. It's they have a texture on the axe itself already. So when I'm dry brushing it, all those little like imperfections in the axe that they purposely put in there result in like a super textured or super detailed axe. I'm just doing the edge of the axe with a lighter shade, so again it looks like
It's a little bit sharper.
it's a little bit sharper. Something that I didn't record because I forgot to was painting the base.
Oh yeah.
And that really it's
You're painting the base. There's not much
painting the
to
base. I can tell you right now I used uniform gray for
the tiles.
the entire base, dark shaded it, went over it again with uniform gray, and took some ash gray and dry brushed ash gray over the top, and that was it.
It was very simple.
It's a very simple painting technique, but you'll see at the end it actually turned out really nice. So this red,
It's for the bow.
yeah, it's actually for the cheeks. I removed most of the red here off of the brush, and I'm just doing some highlights, pinks, and you could actually see that I already put the scribbles, the Ash Ketchum lines on her cheeks.
That's one way to call it.
I don't know what they call it in
I don't know.
actual anime terms.
I call it like Ash Ketchum cheeks. Why not?
They're kind of like scribbles, that's about it.
Yeah.
Alright, so we're just about at the end here. This is just wrapping up.
Touch-ups and going over it a few times.
So let's see. Yeah, again, it's just trying. So I'm highlighting the metal at this point, actually. I'm showing the camera, but I'm not showing the camera.
You need to work on that.
I really do need to learn how to better angle my models for the camera. Again, I apologize, guys. If you guys have recorded where you're doing something at a table around the camera, please let me know
Like a better way.
your better technique, if you will, because I have no idea what I'm doing with this. I have a GoPro, but I feel like the GoPro wouldn't be any much better.
Different.
It's smaller, but it's still like, you know, I'm painting around the model, around the.
Camera stand. Jeez.
What?
You get with the words.
I hate talking about my work. So, I'm touching up the tail. That's a detail I completely forgot about. Let's see. So, from here. Oh, I'm touching up the, what is that called? The, wraps around her axe now. And this is just to kind of finalize it. After this, I believe I do a few more touch-ups, and then it's
And the
done.
base.
Yeah, well, you guys, like I said, you guys aren't going to see me do the base because I forgot to record the base. Yeah, it's a lot of touch-ups.
Which happens a lot.
Again, in this style of painting, or the way I paint, it happens all the time.
Oh yeah.
So, alright, so
Seems like you're almost there. Still more touch-ups.
yeah, this is just painting the ears again. They weren't as bright as I wanted them to be. Man, this guy is so slow at painting.
Even though you're going such a fast speed.
I mean, this just shows you it's tripled speed, and it shows you how long this painting actually is. Oh, maybe I do show you how I paint it. Yeah, okay.
Never mind.
I do paint at least the base coat of the
The base.
base. The base.
Base.
The base.
Base coat the base. Oh yeah, that's the other thing. You gotta be careful of the bottom.
Yeah, when you're painting the base, make sure you have some place to put it that it's not going to stick.
Yes.
Alright, so here's the finished model. So as you can see, the face got a little wonky. Like the edges. So
and then your comparison.
Yep.
Pretty
So
close.
there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed, and until the next time.